What's up, everybody? Today is Tuesday, June 15th, or 615 day if you're in the 615 Nashville area. I am not today. I'm on the road in Austin, Texas. That's why you don't see my pretty face here today, but you'll get the high-quality audio. And, of course, we've got Justin here. Justin, how you doing this afternoon, bud?
I'm good. I'm here for real. I'm not on the road, but I'm doing well. Got a fun little afternoon, evening of baseball. There's no afternoon baseball again today, back-to-back days. Missed my sports line pick yesterday. White Sox kind of let me down, got beat off of 3 home runs at Tropicana. Never fun when that happens. But hit the donkey of the day, coming back, hopefully winning anyone who's paying attention to them a little bit more money on a stupid run with parlays. I've been hot for the last, 6 days. So hopefully just keep it rolling.
You freaked me out there for a second. You said the White Sox at Tropicana. Did they play there last night?
Oh no, no. Sorry, it was at.
Okay,
it wasn't at Tropicana.
That's making sure because I have an overplay on this game today.
I know you do.
Over 8, and I would be more concerned if the game was somehow in Tropicana and my feeds.
I don't think it would be at 8. Yeah, no, it wouldn't be at 8 if it was at Tropicana. But no, that is my bad. I think that's my brain trying to make an excuse for my miss. So please pardon that one. But okay.
There you go.
Right. Should be a good day. We're going to have another donkey of the day. We're not going to confuse too many more stadiums. Should be a good one, even without Mike's pretty face on the screen. So we have one, maybe quickly talk NBA before we jump into the full MLB today. We have one play on the NBA. Well, we don't play. We have one game in the NBA. So are you thinking they upgraded Harden to doubtful? Does that mean anything? Or is it just smoke and water, smoke and mirrors?
I think it's smoke and mirrors for the most part. I think that what you see him out there on the court pregame dribbling around and enjoying life with the guys, so to speak. But I don't think he's any real threat to play in this game. I think that while they'd like to win this one, I don't expect them to chance it at all here. I think what's more realistic is they go down 3-2 and he gives it a go in the next game, right? I don't see really any scenario that they push him out there in this first game. But I've seen crazier things, and these teams have made poor decisions in the past with superstars and as it pertains to injuries. But as of right now, I can't see it. I could still see the Nets covering the 4, to be honest, but I can't see Harden out there for really any meaningful minutes in this one, not until they're down 3-2.
Yep, I'm right with you. I think it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Hamstrings need time. At the end of the day, They just need time. So, I think that we see a little bit of I think the Bucks probably make the donkey today, right? They should win. That is a scenario that we put the donkey in for. It's a should win scenario. And they should. I mean, Kevin Durant's a great player, but he is a shooter, right? He is the guy who gets passed to. I don't think he's been a distributor for years. And they need who's gonna get other guys open on this lineup right now. I mean, like who they are undoubtedly screwed. They don't have any of their 3 top guards. Dinwiddie is, hopeful to return for the finals, but they got to make that. They're in some trouble, man. They need Harden. Even if he just like jogs around and passes the ball, he might be of some use in game 6. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them push him just because they don't have passers. They don't. And then, they're going to already be screwed trying to defend down low. And if they don't have the offensive potency, I think that's really their whole game plan. No one's coming in and being like, oh, the Nets are the defensive powerhouse. It's going to like stop their opponents and really lock them down. I mean, they've been better than expected, but they're not going to win on defense. They're going to win on offense. I think they're in trouble tonight.
Yeah, I tend to agree with it. Like you said, they need time for a hamstring injury. There doesn't sound like a lot, but there's still a massive difference between him potentially playing Thursday than there is today on a Tuesday.
Yes.
It's just an extra 36 to 48 hours makes a massive difference in that kind of injury. And like you said too with Dinwiddie, like if they have any aspirations of playing in the finals, they're not going to push Harden out for the rest of the season in a game 6 here. I think it would be game 7 that they would have to do it. So I don't think he's playing. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not touching the spread. I think Bucks money line is how you probably play this game. I mean, I don't know about the over under. I think over could be interesting because there's just going to be probably a pretty fast pace to this one if the Bucks are just dominating.
Yeah, this series has gone under so much.
Yeah,
so much. And you've seen the total on this one drop 4. I do too as well. At this current number, I agree with you. It's all the way down to 219.5. That is down 4 points from the open. I make it 221. So
right, I think the Bucks could score 115 tonight without much issue.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you're almost there. And then again, I think the Nets are going to be chucking up shots. I think they have shooters right now. I think they have, that's probably their only chance is for like Bruce Brown and Jeff Green and Joe Harris to like shoot. So I think they'll be shooting tonight, and I think they'll shoot with high volume and try to like limit Giannis. But it's going to be futile. It's going to be a bad game. It's not going to be fun. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to your point there, I believe Sean put that up there. Yeah. I mean, you're going to need 15, 10, and 5 from Blake for them to have a shot here. He's going to have 15 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Like, yeah, that's got to be Blake Griffin's line if they're going to take down the Bucks.
He's going to need 8 assists. Honestly, I don't know where the distribution is going to come from. Who's going to have more than 5 assists tonight on this team? Who? Bruce Brown. I mean, Mike James.
It's got to be Mike James. Joe Harris might have to pass the ball twice or two. I mean, Durant.
They aren't distributors.
Durant can have his triple double, but yeah.
I wonder what the odds are on the triple double, because I would take the no. I would definitely take the no. It might be, you might get better odds on the no today than you would have a week and a half ago because they think he might be distributing. So I don't know. I think the Nets are in trouble. I have actually futures on both these teams to win the championship. So I'm for the Nets because my payout's bigger, but whatever. One of them will be alive. But anyway, should be a good game. I think at least for the first 10 minutes, and then I expect it kind of gets a little ugly, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, look, the Hawks storm back, right? You never know. These games have been crazy at this point in the NBA.
They really have. They really, really have. All right.
Hard to
baseball time?
Wait. Before we go on, though. So last night I put like $10 on the Hawks when they were down 20, and it was the easiest no sweat bet I've ever had in my life. So I think that, you can, and we've seen this a lot already, especially in the semi-conference, the semifinals round here, that when you get these big spreads, when these teams go down huge and you can live bet a team plus 18, these games end up coming close at the end. So don't be afraid to throw $5 on a plus 20 line, for the Nets tonight if they get down big. The likelihood is that it'll close up closer to the end. It usually does. And you can make those are big lines. There's a reason these games are at 4 and 5. Like they do, get tightly contested at the end. It's hard to blow a team out in the playoffs.
Yeah. No arguments here.
Small anecdote there. But anyway, on to baseball. So it's a pretty decent slate today.
I actually had 3 plays today.
Yeah, I saw you did. I think it's a 15-game slate, which is pretty standard, right?
Yeah, full slate. Full slate today.
Cool.
Everyone is in action. First game, Pirates on the road against the Nationals. The Patrick Corbin problem is always a tough one to solve. Always a fun one to solve.
That sounds like a Big Bang Theory episode title to me. The Patrick Corbin problem. Like they always make those stupid titles, like the DeGrom equation or something that we could title our things like that show. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be tricky. I don't know. I think I like the Pirates tonight, honestly, just on the fact that he's pitching and he's so high variance. just on
Yeah, I
principle.
would. Yeah. I mean, normally, if I was going to blindly bet the Pirates, I would need like plus 175 ish on them
Mm.
at plus 150. I personally think that there's not really any value on either side
I
here.
think my
If you
book
wanted to
had
play the
plus
over, but
159 this morning, so
159. Okay.
I didn't hate sprinkling.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I mean, this Nationals team is actually decent against left-handed pitching. Tyler
Right.
Anderson on the mound for the Pirates. Negative park shift for him. Pretty good hitting environment at Nationals Park generally. My personal lean is to the over on it, but it's going to come down to which Patrick Corbin are we getting? Are we getting the 4 to 6 walk Patrick Corbin? If we are, yeah, I definitely lean over.
Am I
have it at
seeing this
8.6
right?
in the model.
Are the Nationals? Wait, what is going on here? There's no way this is correct. The data's wrong on action because it's saying the Nationals are. Oh, maybe this is right. The Nationals are 8-25 OU at home. That's crazy.
It is. That is a wild statistic.
I don't know if you saw me literally like looking at my phone like I'm seeing things, but only 8 times over at this day. I had no idea. Only 2 of their last 10 games for the Nationals have been over. So clearly they're not producing. This is another one of those games where that might be the case. I mean, there's a wind blowing in. Both teams have slight negative VMIs. This definitely feels like an underlean to me. I don't know if there's any money indicators on this one. I can take a peek really quick here. It looks like the sharp money's on the over actually. So
yeah, that's where my lean was.
Yeah,
but it all
Corbin
comes down
can get blown up
to Corbin. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So
anyway, no play for me probably there. Again, my gut feel is that under and probably the Pirates on that plus line just because I don't like Corbin, but not really going to touch it personally. Then we got Yankees, Blue Jays. So this is at Solon Field.
Blue Jays
in Buffalo.
Got the Yankees as an underdog. Interesting. Judge is questionable. That's part of it. A lot of it Ryu, but this Yankee lineup, they should have 9 right-handed hitters against Ryu tonight. Should be right all the way across the board. Maybe if Judge is out, maybe Gardner's in, but other than that, it's going to be 9 righties up there for Ryu to face. Do you have any thoughts on this one? I think that the most interesting thing to me personally is, despite not really having value on the Yankees, they're a team that if you've followed me for a while, or you, like any of us, right? The Yankees are one of those teams that you just never really get to bet on. And the reason you don't get to bet on them often is because the name value, they have that 3% baked in all the time, right?
Yeah, pretty brutal.
So
do you think
that's not happening anymore, though?
Take them?
Yes, I am. I do. I think that that's not happening so much anymore because they've been so bad at times that it's really come down to only about 1% of inflation on Yankee lines. It's something that I've been tracking and monitoring a little bit. It's either that or just the model still has a lot of love for the Yankees. I don't know. But it seems that they are not shading the Yankees the 3% that they have in years past.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think a lot of people are down on the Yankees this year. I think the Yankees are down on the Yankees this year. It's really been a mess, right? They've just been losing games left and right. Doesn't feel like they can get anything together, but they're actually still doing okay comparatively to the rest of the league. So they're still in it. And I think your model is going to, like the Yankees as long as Stanton's in there, right? Because he is, there's very few better hitters in this game. And one's actually going to be on the field tonight with them in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So this is going to be an interesting one. I don't know if the Yankees have played here yet, so I don't really know if they have much familiarity with the park, how the ball plays there. I don't really know if that's really factored in to VMI. I don't know if they're used to playing in Buffalo, but there's a slight wind blowing out of the stadium today. Air density is above average. It's at 65. The average, I believe, is 62. Is the national average. So 65 is a little elevated. Negative VMI for the Yankees, minor positive for the Blue Jays. I'm not touch in this one. I know a couple people are taking the Blue Jays. I know a couple people are taking the Yankees. I'd probably go with the over if I had to, just given the talent on the field and the wind blowing out.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
Hard to go with anything.
I tend to agree with it. I think the one thing that I would say, but this is just looking at some of the distributions for me, I would consider, if you like that Blue Jays side, I would consider taking it on the run line, on a home run line, just because it's approaching to the point where you're going to get it plus 150, 155,
right?
Because it is that home run line. But that's one that I would be comfortable with. A lot more comfortable than even laying minus 130 and plus. If you're getting it down minus 118, like it looks like I can find in a few places, not going to be taking the run line in that spot, but just one that, we don't love.
It's 130 right now. That's pretty rough.
In some spots, it looks like minus 125 now at William Hill, but you're still getting plus 150 or more on the run line. So that personally, like I don't have a play on it, but there's some good information you can give here too. Sean says, Blue Jays graded A play. When you see things like that and you see certain models have insanely high takes on them, other models don't have strong takes to the other side. I think that those are generally cases where you could probably feel comfortable taking that side if your head like that side, right? So run line plus 163 at DraftKings. Like, yeah, that is way more exciting to me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, again, I haven't put any plays up, so you're getting really my live run through, and I just get to do it with Mike today, which is actually kind of fun. So if I have plays up today, they'll probably be what you're hearing here. So that one might very well be one. I do like the reasoning a lot there. This is something that I've done a lot, right? Like you like a team, but you don't want to lay, and I don't like laying juice, right? Laying juice is, unless you really have an edge, you shouldn't be doing it. And then even so, if you have a way to maybe take another result that has a decent, distribution, a decent distribution where you have a potential that the Blue Jays, when they win, they sometimes clobber teams. And so that means that as a favorite on the run line, they have probably a better chance than some of these other squads that you see out there. And, if you take a look at, like, I guess I usually like to use like 14 days as a good barometer for how teams are truly doing in recently. I think a week is a little too short. But if we look at the weighted on base average over the last 2 weeks, my guess is that the Blue Jays are right up there. 351 over the last 2 weeks, top 5 in the majors, only behind Houston, the Angels, the Reds, and the A's. I'm totally fine with this play. I really like it. I might go write it into my personal book now. So if you want to get ahead of what I'm probably going to put on Sportsline, probably grab that. But yeah, plus 155 on the run line seems like a nice play. I do like Ryu. If anyone's going to calm down a lineup like that, it's going to be him. Like, he does have good stuff. So yeah, let's see how that one goes. But all right, on to the next.
Yes.
What are we thinking about?
Orioles, Indians?
This one's quite interesting. This wind is 16 miles an hour blowing right at home plate. Are you leaning under?
I hate leaning under with Matt Harvey on the mound. I think he's
very fair.
It's never going to feel comfortable. What's the line? Like the total?
Over. Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Let's see where the total is on this one. It wasn't
9
any value this morning. Yeah, it's
9
still 9.
And
it's come down to 9.5, but I don't think that the 9.5 was available very long.
It was at 9. It opened at 9.5. Interesting.
Yeah,
I think it looks like, again, the under seems to be the favored line. It's opened at it was U 9.5 minus 120 at the open, and then it's U and it's now minus 115 on U9, even though the public is 77% on the over. So that's,
I've got it at 8.8. Yeah, it's definitely sharp money there. I've got it at 8.8. Like I said, I never saw it at 9.5. I'm just reading the opening lines now. It was not at 9.5 anywhere that I could have got it at the time. That So
that's why I lean for me.
Anything. Yeah,
I'm with it. I mean, me. I take the weather stuff very seriously. A wind blowing in like that at Progressive Field, is no joke. Progressive Field isn't exactly, it's a pretty average run scoring park. It does have a little bit of an increased potential for doubles, but it's pretty low on. It's a 4% decrease in average home run rate. So, I think this could be a spot where the Indians keep the Orioles to like a meager production, because I think we're seeing in the lines, you're seeing a relatively big line on the Indians because of Matt Harvey, is what I'm assuming here. I mean,
it's a huge
they're one
line
of the biggest
there.
favorites of the day, minus 175.
Yeah, and frankly, I don't think that number is exactly warranted. I know Maestro has a play on this from the early edge. I think he has it on the run line, which is something that I would support there. I would not be super comfortable laying minus 172 on in this situation. Quantrill's expected numbers 344 is going to be below average. The expected slugging 419 is fine. Nothing really glaring about that, but he's priced as if, especially this Orioles. I know he's not a lefty, obviously, but this Orioles team is the best team in baseball against lefties right now. The pricing on this game has it priced as if, like an upper tier starting pitchers pitching, and that's simply just not the case, right?
Yep. I mean, we were just talking about the last 2 weeks and the weighted on base average. I mean, if you had to, here's the thing, right? Here's where bias really comes into play. If I asked you, where is Baltimore? Not you, Mike, you might have a better idea because you're a baseball dork like I am. But if I asked a general person who just lightly bets baseball, where do you think the Baltimore Orioles are? Like, what third of the league, bottom, middle, or top, would you say the Orioles are in terms of weighted on base average? I'm sure a lot of people would come back and say middle, and most would probably say bottom, but they are the 8th best team in the last 2 weeks in weighted on base average. They are just hitting the ball a lot better. And for whatever reason, their strikeout percentage isn't terrible. It's not power. It's not really that lucky. It's just good, solid hitting. Like, it's not slugging. Their slugging is actually relatively low. Their slugging is more towards the middle of the pack, but they're just making good contact. So,
run line or nothing. I was glad to see Larry take the run line on the show. They obviously should win. They're the better team, but the run line is the appropriate way to play that one.
Right. You don't want to bet against an offense like what Baltimore has been doing against a team like Cleveland, who can kind of muck it up at any point at that price. It's just, I don't care. Indians, I don't care. You don't bet a team like the Indians minus 175 on, even like you saw, even Shane Bieber. You shouldn't do it. We've learned our lesson a lot. And he went on the DL after we sort of talked some stuff about him. So,
that he did. Next game, Cubs Mets. Is that on yours next?
It is.
All right. This is one that I had a play on.
Yeah, you're going with the underdog, right?
Going with the Cubbies. It was one of those unfortunate moments. Give you guys a little glimpse into the early edge, how everything works there. Basically, nobody talks to anyone as far as picks ahead of the show. And we submit our picks all within 5 minutes of each other a lot of times, because we know when we need data up for the producer to get the show ready, right? And Zach and I emailed in at almost the exact same moment. I believe he was like a minute before me, but I obviously hadn't seen his email come through because I had left mine up to type it. We were both on the Cubs. So Zach gave that one out on the show. I gave my other two, but I played the Chicago Cubs, posted it on the Discord server this morning. Got them at plus 135. They opened plus 143, now tracking plus 130 and down to plus 128 on FanDuel. Very clearly the sharp side. Once again, we're going to continue to bet on Taijuan Walker regression to at least closer to an average pitcher, and not the elite ace Jacob deGrom level stuff. And I think that a lot of people in the sharper betting community are doing the same, and that's why you see what you see. But
agreed.
I'd love to hear any thoughts you might have on it.
I'm basically with you. If anything, I'm probably taking the under. Hard not to at this stadium. It's just winning. People will talk like you. I think I started getting like betting ads on my Instagram page, and I forget which one it comes up, but it's like the most profitable teams to bet on. And it's like, yeah, but there's even more profitable raw trends. And you're not even talking about the fact that Citi Field has only had 3 games go over all year. Do you know how safe that money has been? That is ridiculous. That is better than betting against the Rockies on the road. That is like the strongest trend in baseball. So
Yep.
I don't know. I know that I have money on it. I know that I got it at 8.5 this morning. I took a small play. I didn't put a full unit on it because it was just I have rules, right? So like plays like that garner a specific unit for me versus my full play, like my full research write up plays. So I did play my trend unit on it because it's up. It's been winning me money. It won me money last night. It barely did it, but it won. And that's exactly what's probably going to happen again tonight. The line is set at 8.5 still. You can still get it under at -115. I mean, 9 runs in this park is just a lot. And I mean, had the Mets been kind of cruddy for the first half of the season? Yeah. But I don't know. There haven't been too many games where the run totals just skyrocket in this stadium. So on a trend, I'm just going to keep playing with the house money. But something to watch. Definitely, if you're into that kind of thing, it's probably the strongest trend in baseball at the moment.
Definitely. I just typed it in the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and answer Sean's question here too. My sim number on this is +117. So I have the Cubs winning 46% of simulations. Feels like a great time to touch on, for anyone new watching, that is me saying that I think even with the edge, the Cubs are going to lose this 54% of the time. I am betting on a team that I project to lose. That is a very foreign and weird concept for many people, but something you should get comfortable with very, very quickly if you plan to bet baseball for a long time. So that's where the edge is. Got it at +135. Pretty meaningful edge from +135 to +117. But that's my number on it.
I mean, just speaking on that quickly, it's not really like easy to be able to say like, oh yeah, 9 out of 10 times, or not. Well, it's not 9 out of 10 times. I shouldn't say that. 6 out of 10 times I'm going to take this loss. But, the numbers they're giving me are actually 7 out of 10 times, right? So if you think you're going to lose this less often than the book is saying you're going to lose it, that's a good bet in the long run. Is it a good bet if you just look day to day? No, but you shouldn't. And that's the wrong way to look at it. So I'm not going to sit there and agree with you if you're just looking at your one-day bet sheet and saying, why are you taking underdogs? Well, I know people who only bet underdogs and they love life because they never have to pay juice. And it's a good world. And people hunt for plus lines. And that's how you should bet. That's kind of, it's hard. It's hard because we're so biased. Like I almost sometimes wish I could have a site that wouldn't present the lines to me before I started doing my research. And that's what I really like about, having my own model is I can like go into what I'm doing and input some numbers and look at the recent results and say, okay, here's what I think. And then go check. Like, oh, and you don't have to be perfect, but again, it's so easy to get biased. And if you think you're not biased, you're biased in thinking that you aren't. So I'll just leave it at that.
For sure. All right, next one. Another one I have a play on. Boston Red Sox.
Day for you today, Mike.
Atlanta Braves. Two second play today here. I played the Braves +105. I like this spot for them. Rodriguez, someone I've talked about. My last 2 plays of the day basically are based on guys and regression that we're expecting. 1 positive, 1 negative. Rodriguez, 351 actual, 301 expected. Massive difference. Takes him from below average to meaningfully above average. Now you give him the league shift, no designated hitter, potentially no Ronald Acuna Jr. for the Braves as well. Gotta love the spot for him. So, and then on the other side, Davidson. If you guys watch the other edge, you probably already heard all this, but Davidson's someone that people are getting awfully excited about for okay reasons when he's facing left-handed hitters. As a lefty, he's a ridiculous strikeout rate. He's basically striking out like 40% of the batters.
Ridiculous.
But against righties, I'm awfully concerned because he's a lefty. Their teams are going to have the platoon advantage. He's facing righties. And small sample size or not, striking out 3.89 per 9 innings is not good as a left-handed pitcher in Major League Baseball. So
No, you need to be doing a lot better than that, because again, most hitters are righties, and the more contact you allow, the more opportunities for a badly placed ball, and yada yada.
Did I misspeak on that? I have the Red Sox plus 105, not the
Oh,
Braves. If I
yeah,
misspoke,
yeah.
I must have. They're taking on the Braves. I am on the Red Sox.
I
Plus
love the Red Sox play today. I gotta say, when I saw that, I loved it. I mean, they should win tonight. I really think the wrong team's favored. Plus I think I got plus 105 this morning. I mean, you could argue that they should be flip flopped, and I totally agree with you. I mean, I think this one's gonna, most of the models that I'm seeing have this pretty close in terms of projections. So I don't hate taking the plus money on it at all. I'll talk a little bit about the VMIs and the weather. It looks pretty crazy. I mean, there's going to be another 10 plus mile an hour wind blowing out of Truist Park. Air density 58. VMI for Boston is at 8. VMI for ATL is at 3. Both positive numbers. Over is still sitting at 9. Minus 120, sure, but like, you don't have to take on the half run loss condition right now. So I kind of like the over here. Are you leaning that way? Do you think this is going to be like a big spot for the Red Sox? Is that how you see this one going?
I actually don't have a massive edge on the over. I just think that they're going to win the game here. I think that Acuna could potentially sit, like I mentioned, but
right, it's a big
I think that honestly, I think that what we're betting on is we're betting on that regression for Eduardo Rodriguez. All of our numbers indicate that he should be pitching and performing, having a slightly better result than he's had, right?
More like
to the point where he's, yes, yeah. Right. I mean, you call it positive, negative regression, whatever, sure, call it what you want. Sure. I'm going to say that he's going to regress to something that is, that's a weird concept. We'll get into that later, but it technically is regression. Regression doesn't have a direction, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just totally wrong, but I think the nerd in me is correct. But either way,
you'd be right.
Yeah, we're expecting him to be a lot better than he has due to the balls that he has put in place so far, giving him this shift. While it's not necessarily a better hitting or pitching environment overall, it is against a team that is somewhat watered down, and getting to face that pitcher for someone who pitches in the AL East is a massive, massive benefit.
Yep, I'm with you.
So
sweet. Okay, a couple more. Well, bunch more. Reds, Brewers. This is a huge negative VMI game at American Family Field. Reds kind of clobbered them last night. I don't think anyone really saw that coming. They put up double-digit runs against the Brewers.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this one? It's a pretty big avoid, maybe a lean under for me.
Yeah, I don't have any thoughts on this one.
Kind of rough. I don't know if there's too much sharp money on it either way. Let me pull up the indicators. It looks like the Reds are the sharp side again, but the lines are pretty close. Like, you're not getting much, but yeah, the money's on the under. I do like the under. There's some sharp money on the over. Again, I think the Reds are just a threat to hit really well. They do have a very nice offense. But I don't know. It's a lean, not a play, but a lean.
Yep. I feel that. Next, which one you got next?
Tigers Royals. Now this, again, the air densities today are wacky, man. 58 in Atlanta, 67 in Milwaukee, now 58 again in Kansas City today. So this is low.
Yeah, it's low, and we're tracking action on the under.
Right.
Moved from 9 down to 9.5 or to 8.5, and that 8.5 is tracking as a sharp side. I understand it fundamentally with the pitchers on the mound.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong damn game. Sorry.
Mize and Minor. Tigers weak against lefties. Minor can handle it nicely at times. Mize, I'm not comfortable with it. Like, I get it. I understand it because Mize has been pretty solid at times and flashed, frankly, a ton of upside. Minor, the same thing against a lineup that struggles against left-handed pitching. Like, for those two pitchers on the mound, I totally can get behind the sharp movement and the pretty significant, meaningful movement towards the under here. However, the weather conditions and knowing these two also have massive blow-up potential, like, I I think the over is still probably, while it will end up being a contrarian play in the market, that's where I would be.
I almost like, I might play it today. 8.5. Eight
Like I
and
said,
a
I
half.
I get it. They're great pitchers at times, but you need them both to be on. And I think that this hitting environment is just so underrated, right? I think a lot of people don't understand. Not, I mean, a lot of people fail to understand some of the weather and the air density. We do a good job of harping on that, but I don't think people understand the actual hitting environment. The park that they're playing in is a great park to hit in overall. Like, it is a top 6 park in Major League Baseball. It doesn't allow a lot of home runs, but look at triples, doubles, and just overall hits in general.
Everything. Like you're just, and it's hard to strike out there, and it's easy to get walks there.
Part of it is a product of the team, the Royals, and for a while, and some of the teams that get to play there frequently. But go look at hits. If you go to Savant, I can drop the link in the chat here.
It's
bottom number 2 behind Coors Field in terms of number of hits. Like,
right. Yeah. It's bottom 2 in both. It's actually the worst walks park. So the most walk, it's easy to get a walk here, and it's hard to strike out here. And again, so yeah, I'm probably playing. That's crazy. I can't believe that. That's nuts. But
I can, like I said, I can believe it. I can make the case for the pitchers, but it's a slight modeling over and pretty meaningful in my head, lean towards the over.
I mean, the Kansas City Royals are like bottom 3rd in ERA. The team's ERA is 4.68. Detroit 4.43. These are both bottom 10 teams in ERA. Come on. I mean, Royals. What do you think about the Royals being favored as 1-9 in their last game?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they struggle. The Tigers struggle so much against left-handed pitching in general that I can get behind it a little bit, but
that makes sense. But the Royals just haven't been winning. I guess they've been better as a favorite though, 13-9 when favored. Oh man, I mean, I'm just looking at this pitching splits for the Royals because I know I've been following them for quite a good amount of time. So we can look at how their home and away splits go. At home, the ERA is 5.01. Away, it's 4.34. The on-base average, 2.65 at home, 2.33 away for this pitching staff. So that's rather significant.
It is.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Tampa Bay, Chicago. That next for you?
Yep.
Yeah, this is one I had to play on the early edge as well. I took the over 8 in this one. A couple reasons. Shane McClanahan, we picked on him last time out. Dallas Keuchel, someone we want to pick on, massive regression candidate as well. Mm-hmm. In the opposite direction of Rodriguez. It's so bad at this point. 318 actual, 378 expected. Getting barreled up a lot, expected slugging. I think we've all been anxious to pick on him. I think this is a pretty good spot, knowing how good the Rays are away from Tropicana. Yeah, and then the White Sox against a lefty, and McClanahan is slowly regressing to a league average at best starting pitcher, in my opinion.
Yeah. So you played this, right? You played the over.
Yeah, I played the over 8, -110. Well, -112 for full transparency. I was supposed to be -110, flipped to -112 on my ass, like right when I was about to do it. So
hate when that happens. Has it? I believe. Someone said it moved to 7.5, but I don't see that on my book.
If so, I will most likely be playing it again.
It's still at 8 for me.
Someone else is saying 8.5 on one of their books.
I have 8, so whatever. I played it this morning with you, but all right, nothing too big here. I mean, I took an L on this one last night. My guess is that whenever I don't know why, it's hilarious. When I take a loss, the next day the pick it wins. So just watch for that to happen today. I'm not going to play it, but I'll be here just laughing at myself when it happens tomorrow. But all right, let's keep it going. We have the Rangers and the Astros. I mean, hard to not take the Astros as the side that's going to win, but I'm not betting on them, right? The price is a little bit too big for me against what's his name? It should be right in front of my face right here. Gibson. Yeah, Gibson has been pretty nasty. Hard to keep the Astros in the park though. They are the best offense in baseball by a good shot. So yeah, not going to play it at -170. if you really want the Astros, I understand taking them on the run line plus 105. And no over under lean because Gibson could shut them down and the Astros could blow them up. So I pretty equal distribution there for me.
Yeah, I think that this goes back to some of the stuff that I do frequently. I played this actual play on the Astros, and there's like the one time they let me down on it last week. But
yeah,
if I wanted to back the Astros today, it would be on the first 5 run line minus a half a run minus 120. That is how I would bring the juice down to a level that I feel comfortable with and a play that I would feel comfortable with there. I love them at home. The first 5 at homes on the run line are nice because you're still getting that bottom half of the inning at bat, whereas on a full game run line in the 9th at home, you're not going to get that. So I think there's just moderate value there. I think that line should be about 130. It is minus 120, minus 115 in some spots. So that's how I would play the Astros if I had to play them.
Makes sense to me. All right, let's keep it going. Again, not going to be a play there for me, pretty much. Marlins Cardinals. Again, saw this last night. Cardinals were in our donkey of the day. They pulled away late. There's a lot of talk of their coach sort of being in the hot seat. They're not really doing well enough. They've made all these moves. They have Goldie, they have Arenado, and they're just not the team that they need to be. Hard for anyone to bet on a team like that. I'm not betting on them today. I couldn't. I don't know, Mike. Do you have any lean on this game? Nothing really catches my eye. They're only minus 120 favorites.
Yeah, I don't really think anything stands out for me. I think that the Cardinals are the better team.
It's Trevor Rogers.
Rogers has been good. I think he's somewhat vulnerable, but I've also not been exactly correct on wanting to, really attack the other side of him. I've wanted to at times, and I've been correct in little isolated moments, but in general, I haven't, been correct or incorrect on it. I think that it's okay. I think that he's still slightly overvalued. Breaking news: James Harden plans to play Tuesday.
Okay,
barring setback. So, all right. If you believe that's true, I would take the Brooklyn Nets in the next 8.5 seconds that you still have it at +4 or 4.5 before it moves to +3 or +2.5. But that's
Crazy.
The only actual advice I could give to you there. You grab it as quickly as possible if you think that he's going to play meaningful minutes.
I think it's a decoy. But anyway, I know Mike, unfortunately, has to run soon. We're probably going to end the broadcast a little short. I'll give the donkey of the day on Twitter again today. It seems to be working really well that way, so I'm not going to mess it up too much. Padres should be in there. Giants and Dodgers probably going to make it too. Nothing really standing out anywhere else in these games. Mariners under looks really good. Huge negative VMI in that park, air density of 70. But that's really it for the rest of the games. Hard to know what the heck's going to happen with Yu Darvish here, but should be interesting.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. Man.
But all right. Yep. Short one today. We'll be back tomorrow, though.
Yep, we'll be back tomorrow, guys. Have a lot more content for you there. Make sure you follow Justin over on Twitter. He is going to give the donkey of the day parlay
2 days in a row. Hit 2 days in a row, and on the spread too. So if you take them on the spread, I hit like plus 15x last night for a second night in a row. So I don't know how the hell I'm doing this. I really kind of wish it wasn't happening, but I'll keep giving them to you because why the hell not?
Yep. Sounds good, guys. We'll see you tomorrow,
everyone.